In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Hi, my name is Mike Feinstein. I'm with the Green Party here in Los Angeles County. And in studio today, we're with Keiko Bonk Abramson, who's from the Green Party of Hawaii, and who's one of the highest elected Greens in the United States. Last year, Keiko won the first partisan victory for the Green Party in the U.S. for the county council for the Big Island of Hawaii. The county council in Hawaii is similar to what we have here for the Board of Supervisors. Keiko, welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Keiko, this is a high race that you've been elected to, but you're not a career politician. You've been an artist in the past, a musician. I guess those are the same thing. Why did you go into politics, and why is it green?
Well, it's a long story, but to make it simple, art, I believe, and politics are integrated. They're integrated. They're one and the same. I was trained to look at things in different ways, from my own personal point of view, and to also look at ways people are looking at things. I spent a long time in New York City painting and getting involved in my community there, which was an art music community, doing projects with other artists, collaborating with other artists on actual paintings as well as performances live, and put together a 100-piece rock and roll orchestra where artists were involved as well as musicians and painters that would paint at the same time that the band would play. I mean, it was a collaborative effort, and all my bands were collaborative. And my bands and I, my husband Mark, we ran studio as well as performance spaces where artists and musicians could come and talk and play music, hang out, and be a community. Okay. To me, that's a political involvement.
A lot of artists stay with that and they don't get into the system. Now you've become part of the system, or you're trying to get into the system.
So, well, my environment changed. I moved back to Hawaii, and where I grew up, and I don't think I was involved in the system there, but it was I had to deal with a systemic thing with the art community in New York. There's an art world, music world, and industry part of that world that's systemic. It's part of the larger world, and I had to deal with them very much. The art world, music world, at that business level in America is very much part of the political system. And you started getting involved in CBS and their interests, and
so then you returned to Hawaii.
So I returned to Hawaii, and after about 15 years of being on the mainland, finishing school and coming back, and being an artist, you look around, what's happened? Things have changed, and in 15 years, when you go away for 15 years and come back, the changes are more obvious to you. The development that I had grown up with, development meaning the overrun of hotels and condos and the paving over of paradise had quadrupled on the outer islands, and now was moving into the island. And I was raised on the island of Hawaii. I was aware of it. I mean, my family's political. They had kept me informed of what was going on all those years I was gone, and I would come home every year to see changes. But coming home and staying for a short period of time isn't the same as returning. Sure. So when I return, I see the changes. I see the intensity of the changes. I get involved.
So you decided to run for office, and you won.
I decided to run from the district I live in because there was a man in that district. It was terrible. He
wasn't representing your district?
He wasn't going to meetings. He wouldn't attend meetings. He was exploiting the position he was in by taking favors from developers. He would vote on the issues according to how the machine wanted him to vote.
So when you say the machine,
the Democratic Party machine in Hawaii. Hawaii is basically a one-party state at this point. And the incumbent that I ran against, Robert Nkuhukane, was obviously part of this Democratic Party machine. In fact, more so than a lot, because he voted as told. He wasn't as much of an initiator of legislation or anything like that. He would follow the vote as told by other people on the council. So he was an obvious person to try to eliminate and run against.
But now you've run, and you've gone in as a Green. As you mentioned, the Democrats tend to control government in Hawaii. You're in a minority. There's a 9-person board that you're on, a 9-person council. How do you, okay, you know, it's nice you can make your statements, but how do you get anything done? What's the dynamic? You're being opposed by a lot of people. How are they treating you as a Green? You know, what's your strategy now? And it was great you're in government, but what's your strategy to get something done?
There's different levels of strategy. There's your day-to-day dealings with the council in the meetings and working on various planning issues and rezoning issues. A lot of those things are what we take care of at the county level. The dynamics between the 9 of us is I usually vote with one other woman, a dissident Democrat, she's called, from my bordering district, and we come from similar kind of areas, which is, it's not anti-development or growth, but it's for qualitative growth and, you know, development for the island. Meaning that we question a lot of times whether tourism should be the only industry on the island, and the kind of development in terms of construction should, you know, we question whether we need more of that. And because our priorities are in education and supporting rural agriculture, and sustaining it, and opening up options, because we believe in, you know, education, opening up options for the children that are growing up in Hawaii, and making sure that we're looking out for their lives. And that means supporting infrastructure that we need right now with people right there, and not planning new infrastructure and development before we can even take care of the people that are in Hawaii.
Well, you talk a little bit about...
That's a basic setup in the fight on the council. Day-to-day issues revolve around those planning issues. And
go ahead. Sorry.
Basically, voting with this one woman, a lot of times we're 2 to 7 a lot, because we feel this way. It's a philosophical stance on the council. The other guys, they're all guys, the way. There are 5 Democrat majority and 2 Republicans that often vote together, 7. But we split, this vote's been being split often more recently, because I've been introducing some legislation, and the Republicans have been introducing legislation, which sometimes we support, and they're supporting me, and then one Democrat will swing the vote and vote with us 5 to 4. It's interesting. One such example was a resolution that I put in concerning my district, where there was a development coming in through a strange means. This one development company went through the planning commission to get a permit to build a golf course. Well, that's the way it's done. We don't deal with golf course permits, those special permits. They do. But while they were at it, they were trying to push through a special permit for a 54-unit accommodation, they called it. Sounds like a hotel, looks like a hotel.
It's a hotel.
It's a hotel. We don't build hotels like that through getting special permits. There's a long process. You got to go through rezoning to make it a resort, you know, area. This place where they want to develop is in my rural district and on conservation land. So I introduced a resolution requesting that the planning commission reject, you know, this permit request, and that this company go through the correct procedures to rezone, both at the state level and county level. And we passed it with that swing 5-4 vote.
I wouldn't imagine that you win a lot of votes. And I understand, you're also taking some strategies outside of the system, so to say, where
right,
with this community redevelopment. What's that about?
Yeah, good thing you brought that up, because that's the other level where I'm working. I consciously decided, knowing that a lot of times there was going to be a 7-2 split, that I have to do other things to make use of this office that I'm in. And you can, there are a lot of resources that come to you being in a political office. You have access to information on a day-to-day basis that sometimes, if you're out in the public, you just don't hear about those things until somebody breaks it in the media, or, So I decided, well, knowing that, and knowing that along my campaign, that I've kept getting similar requests, big issue requests from my constituents. The biggest one being that in my district, there's a huge agribusiness, sugar agribusiness, that's been supporting communities in that rural area for years and years. And it might close. It's going to close. Sugar's been phasing out since 25 years. The Ka'u agribusiness is the last one to go down on our island. It's just a question of time. So everybody's nervous because the Hamakua Sugar Company closed this year without any notice, and people got devastated. They're nervous. They're the last ones. So they kept asking me, what are we going to do about jobs after sugar goes down? Big question. It's classic, right? One industry, agribusiness goes down, everybody's devastated. Okay, so I said, well, basically we're going to have to work together to figure this out. We're going to before it happens, and we have resources at the state level and county level, people that help us look into small business things and alternative agricultural options. And we have people even within our district right now doing like experimental farming that are willing to help us and work together with us. And we have all kinds of resources at our fingertips. We just got to make sure we can get them. So we started having these meetings. People would throw out ideas. We started bringing in resource people to give other people ideas. And from these meetings decided that we should form Economic Development Corporation or Council so that we can actually access more resources, financial ones, including being legit, so that people come seriously to bring us new ideas, and we can go out and exchange with other people that have done this kind of thing before. It's happening all across the country, right? Rural areas.
But you've initiated it in your area.
Yeah, I'm initiated in my area, and right now we're in the process of making it a corp.
How has the rest of the council responded to the fact that you took the initiative here to do this sort of economic planning?
At the beginning they were sort of ignoring it because they were so concerned with the Hamakua Sugar Company closing. But after that closed, now they're kind of focusing on this area again. They're sort of letting me go, but now we're gelling, and there's interest not only from your grassroots type or community, but the community that the landholders, for instance, the agribusiness themselves, are participating with us. This company called Sea Brewer who owns the plantation.
Gary?
Oh, I didn't finalize.
So you can have a chance to have that engaging smile. Shovel the shed here.
And in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Hi, my name is Mike Feinstein, and I'm a member of the Green Party here in Los Angeles County. In studio today, we're with Keiko Bonk Abramson from the Hawaii Green Party. Keiko, welcome.
Hi, Mike.
Keiko, you're one of the highest, indeed the highest elected green in the country, and you won the first partisan race that any green has won in the United States. And in so doing, you freaked out the Democratic Party. What I understand is the U.S. Senator, Dan Inouye, and the governor, Democratic governor of Hawaii, campaigned against you.
Both U.S. senators.
Both U.S. senators, unheard of for, for essentially what is a Board of Supervisors race. It's the county council in Hawaii for the Big Island, for what we would call in California, Board of Supervisors. You were an artist by profession, and you've gotten into politics. You've won, really the prototype citizen activist, citizen politician. So you're in power, and you're in a situation where the odds are stacked against you. I understand that it's mostly Democrats, pro-development Democrats on your county council. So now that you're in, which is quite an achievement, really, what are you gonna do to be effective with your office? You're in there. You're going to be outvoted most of the time. Have you won any votes, first of all, and second of all, beyond trying to win votes and introduce your own motions, have you adopted other strategies for making use of your office?
Well, yes, it is tough. Minority, majority type of thing on the council, 9-member council. But I have won some of the legislation we're trying to push through. Recently there was a issue about a development that's in my district, proposed development for a golf course, and this one company called Akahi went through the planning commission to get a special permit to do the golf course. Well, while they were doing that, they tried to get a special permit to build a 54-unit accommodation, which is, to me, a hotel, and to a lot of people, a hotel.
Yeah.
So I proposed a resolution through the council to put pressure on the Planning Commission as well as Land Use Commission, which is the state Planning Commission, to reject this permitting process for a hotel, because it's not the way it's done.
It's an end run around the real process.
Yeah, it's going to set precedent, too, if it passes. It avoids doing EIS, environmental impact
statements,
studies and statements, and it avoids a rezoning procedure totally, which comes through the council, and that's what we're, dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So, anyway, I pushed this through and convinced 5 people, including myself, to vote for it. So
you were a whistleblower in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I tried to appeal to the Planning Commission when they were even doing the golf course, but they wouldn't listen by myself. So altogether, we're appealing now. And that's one of the ways. I mean, there are other issues that I introduced with my colleague on the council, a woman, dissident Democrat, and we've got those approved too. Issues about helicopters flying over our national park. And, we've had a lot of problems recently with helicopters falling into the volcano, and more recently, helicopters falling into the ocean where the volcano meets the sea and people dying because a lot of these helicopter operators are breaking FAA rules and regulations by flying too low. They fly over the ocean without putting on safety, taking safety precautions.
So in some kind of obvious cases, you've been able to win.
Yeah.
Outside of those situations, again, I would imagine that the odds are stacked against you. What other strategies are you using to use your office to empower the community to bring out green approaches?
Okay, I have a pet project, so to speak. I'm in a community that has a sugar plantation. Sugar's leaving and has left the islands for years and years. This is the last one on our island, this plantation. And everyone in my district is concerned about it because a lot of people will lose jobs. And this area will become devastated. So we've come together in meetings and discussions and formed we're forming right now a community economic development corporation or council to start getting funding from the state and the feds to help us look into different economic resources for the area. And everybody's consistently interested in sustainable agricultural, small business, and alternative small businesses, that are ecologically and environmentally sound. We live right. Our district is bordering the Volcano National Parks. There's concern about endangered species, and our shorelines over there are pretty much pristine and undeveloped. So everybody in my district, not everybody, but the majority of people are concerned about these issues, and they'd like to. And consistently, they've told me these meetings they'd like to keep our district preserved and intact.
So you initiated these hearings, the community is giving feedback, developing a vision for itself. Being a Green,
plan, together.
Well, I'm sure being a Green, you had some preconceived ideas, like if you're near a national park, you probably want to promote ecotourism rather than the kind of rapacious Waikiki style.
Exactly.
Have you found, being a Green and having those kind of views and yet wanting to have a grassroots democracy and empowering the community through this hearing process, have you found that they have wanted the kind of things that you hoped they wanted?
Yeah, it's worked out beautifully. I mean, the parks people are even coming to our meetings and getting involved. And for the first time, I mean, the superintendent of our national park came into the Pahala community, one of the small plantation towns, and didn't plead with them, but told them, look, we are a World Heritage Site. We are an International Biosphere Reserve. You're the neighboring community. Please develop in a way that's going to be complementary to us, because this is something that's internationally respected and
what about the large corporation that is in town? Are they
the one that owns the agribusiness? I've invited them to participate also in this community development corporation, and they've come to every meeting, not every meeting, but a lot of the meetings, and out of that, they've given our community organization 16 acres of land to try some experimental agricultural projects, experimental crops, having people come in to do demonstrations, for instance, in biogas conversion procedures, and also bringing your innovative, resource people together with those that might be displaced from the agricultural business that's going on now, the ag workers on the plantation, who don't necessarily know a lot about their options for doing small farming. They've worked in a plantation situation that's totally different. You do the same thing over and over and over every day. You don't really grow your own produce and that kind of thing. So, but that sort of educational workshop training thing can go on right on this land, and we're also looking to this land to be a possible site for a festival idea that our community organization's been talking about once a year, or maybe biannual. And that
would bring in resources to the area, without spoiling it. Now, talking about spoiling it, it sounds like you've helped generate a process that brings out the community's vision. How is that playing with the Democratic Party hierarchy in the state, the governor, that sort of thing? How are they responding to you?
Well, it's funny you ask, because the night before last, the governor issued a press release, and it's hit the newspapers in Hawaii, that he is going into agreement, the state is going into agreement with Lockheed Missile Space Company, and they want to build this rocket launch spaceport right next to the national park in Ka'u, on the coastal flat area of my district that is now pristine, that houses the endangered Hawaiian sea turtle in the ocean, and they nest in that area, that will conflict with the kind of tourism ideas everybody's talking about, the ecotourism ideas. That would basically halt fishing on certain days. It conflicts with the astronomy research that's going on our island on top of the Mauna Kea. That conflicts with the small farms, rural
Why is the governor pushing this sort of thing then?
Why is he pushing it? Well, I have a theory. He's leaving his office. He's been in there for 8 years now. He's leaving there. He's promoted this thing for over a decade. They've spent $4.5 million to this day and more for this year's budget to do research, not just research, and to promote this idea. And now he's got to show something for it before he leaves. He's got to show something for it. So there has been no environmental impact study finished and compiled yet. It was supposed to be finished 3 years ago. The community has been waiting for it. There's been so much anti-spaceport feelings throughout our community. It's been a terrible.
Do you feel this is a slap at you because you're a Green in office in that district?
Well, the timing seems pretty appropriate. You know, it's my district. He campaigned against me.
Right.
He's leaving. He's got to do something for himself. It's partially himself. You know, he's got to show something for himself.
And it happens to fit together with where you're at. Well, Keiko, you're gonna run again, I assume, next time. It seems like you've got a situation pitted now where you've helped develop a community voice. The Democratic Party is coming down on that community. It seems like a real dichotomy: grassroots versus the power structure.
What's set up here?
Yeah, that's what. Are you gonna win next time?
I'm gonna win next time. I'm gonna give it my best. I'm gonna fight them. They're gonna come at me, you know, with all their guns and everything. But I think basically, I'm building up a trust in my community. You know, I trust them. That people, the kind of constituents that are in my community, don't really agree with the party machine. They proved it the last time around when they voted.
And your election proves that voice can be heard.
Right. And we'll see how this community organizing and building is proving it even more too to me. You know, I recognize the fact that they are green. They're greens in this district. They're green.
Sure.
They're farming. They're
without even calling themselves green, they're just green.
Yeah, we have registered greens, but without calling themselves greens, they have green values and ideas well,
Keiko, listen, I'd like to thank you for being with us, and it sounds like the kind of thing that you're doing is the basis for the kind of grassroots change that people seem to want in this country that they aren't getting from the big parties. And I wish you the best of luck in pursuing your agenda and the green agenda, and hopefully a better world for us all. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.
Outstanding.
You're excellent. You could be like with the Connie Channel. Pick up Dan Rather.